Okay guys, we have a lot going on in this kitchen today. Right now I am canning up the leftover chicken noodle soup that we made for dinner the other night. So, this is my second batch going in. I already have 7 quarts canned. That's why I love making a big batch of soup, because then you can can the leftovers and save it for whenever you guys need it, especially soup, such a comforting meal. I'm also in the middle of making a cake for Autumn's birthday, and then I have to start dinner. But I wanted to get this soup canned so it wouldn't go bad. So when you are canning your leftover soup, I usually fill, like you can see, this is like three quarters of the way with whatever sustenance you're going to have in it, like your noodles, your meat, your carrots, all of that. Don't fill it all the way with broth, because what you can do is top it off with water. Otherwise you probably run out of broth before you have all your jars filled. Let's see how many quarts we can get out of this. A lot of people have asked if the noodles like get really mushy or get soggy, and I mean, yeah, they're softer. They're definitely softer, but they don't disintegrate, and they're still, you know, noodle consistency. You can still tell they are noodles. Let's move these guys out of my way. Get to these ones. A lot of the times, though, when I am canning chicken noodle soup or any kind of soup that would need a noodle, I would leave out the noodles from when I make this soup part and just put them into the jars dry. I've done that before, and that works really good. This is still, I mean, they still come out really good too. If you know, like Campbell's chicken noodle soup or anything like that, it's the same consistency. It's also why it helps to use the thicker noodles with your soup to begin with, and then they don't break down as easily. There we go. Put a little bit more in this guy. Give that one. There we go. Okay. So now we just fill them with cold water. Make sure you are leaving a headspace, so just right to the bottom ring there is what I am trying to do. This does not dilute the flavor of your soup either, by the way. When you pressure can it, oh, I did that one without a funnel. When you pressure can it, you're kind of still condensing it down, and like those noodles are going to absorb the water some, and so you're still going to have that nice brothy flavor. It's still going to be golden. I will show you when they're done what they look like. Now we have to wipe our rims and find some lids. Let's wipe our rims. Especially when you're doing the soup, it could be a little bit greasy from the broth, and put a lid on. two kinds of lids that I'm using for this batch because that's what I found in the container. I'm reusing lug lids because I love to reuse them. I'm really disappointed. This is from Classico, and they recently just switched their lids. They don't have these lids anymore. It's such a bummer. And they changed their jars. We would always buy the Classico if we had to buy pasta sauce because of their jars specifically. I paid a little bit more because I felt like, oh, it's just a jar deposit. I can reuse the jar and the lid. Not anymore. Although, I mean, you could still. You can still. They're just not the lug lids. They are different lids, and I don't like them. So. Okay, last one. There we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can maybe fit one more in here. Yeah, 6. We'll put our lid on. There we go. And lock the opposite sides of your lid so that it gets an even seal. Okay, last 2. Some and turn it on. After you've had steam blowing out for 10 minutes, you're going to put your weight on and let it come up to pressure. If you're under 1,000 feet, do 10 pounds. If you're not sure about your elevation, then I would Google it. Alright guys, as soon as your jiggler is jiggling on top, because our soup has meat in it, we're going to can it for meat time, so it'll be 90 minutes, an hour and a half. You start your timer when you reach your pressure, okay? Here is what they look like when they get out of the canner. You can see they're still golden brown. They look delicious. Homemade goodness right there in a jar. Ready to go on the shelf for whenever you need it. Canning your leftovers is such a good idea. It leads to less food waste and lets you have shelf-stable food for an emergency, for when you're sick, for whenever you just need a night off from cooking. And I hope that this recipe is helpful for you, or this canning technique is helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.